What if the moment you want to quit is the exact moment your character is being built? Not when everything is going well. Not when your confidence is high. Not when the path is clear. The real test arrives quietly. You wake up tired. You feel behind. The goal that once seemed exciting now feels distant, and nobody would blame you for taking your foot off the gas. But there is a reminder you need to hear before you make that decision. You do not need to feel powerful to continue. You do not need certainty. You do not need applause. You need to remember why you started, and decide that today's discomfort will not be allowed to write tomorrow's story. There will be days when your discipline feels invisible. You will do the work, and nothing obvious will change. You will make the sacrifice, and nobody will notice. You will choose restraint while someone else chooses comfort, and from the outside, it may look like you are gaining nothing. That is where many goals quietly die. Not because the person was incapable. Not because the dream was impossible. But because the reward took longer than expected. You were willing to work when progress was visible. You were willing to continue when motivation was strong. The harder question is whether you can continue when the evidence disappears. You will often mistake a difficult season for a permanent reality. One bad week becomes, in your mind, evidence that nothing is working. One rejection becomes proof that you are not good enough. One failed attempt becomes a prediction about every attempt that comes after it. But a moment is not a verdict. It is a moment. Imagine you have been working towards something for months. You have adjusted your schedule, sacrificed comfort, and stayed consistent. Then something goes wrong. You sit alone that evening, staring at the unfinished work. Your mind immediately starts negotiating. Maybe you are wasting your time. Maybe someone else is simply better. Maybe you should stop trying so hard. Notice what happened. The setback itself was one event. The suffering came from the story you attached to it. That distinction matters. You cannot always choose the event. You can choose whether you turn the event into a permanent definition of yourself. The fact is simple. It did not work. The interpretation says you cannot make it work. Those are not the same statement. One describes the present. The other predicts the future. Look at what happened. Learn what it teaches. Adjust what needs adjusting. Then continue. There is strength in refusing to make a temporary disappointment more powerful than it deserves to be. There is another battle you must learn to recognize. It happens before you ever touch the work. It happens in the few seconds between knowing what you should do and deciding whether you will do it. Imagine a fictional man named Daniel. He has an important goal, but his evenings have become chaotic. Every night, he tells himself tomorrow will be different. Then tomorrow arrives. He feels tired. The room is quiet. The work looks difficult. For a moment, the old pattern returns. But instead of asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" he asks a better question. What did I decide when I was thinking clearly? Your strongest decisions should not be made by your weakest moments. When you are calm, you can decide what matters. When pressure arrives, your job is not to renegotiate everything. Your job is to remember. There will be stretches of your journey where nobody seems interested in what you are building. That can hurt. Especially when you watch others receive attention for results you are still working toward. You are not here to live inside someone else's timeline. Your responsibility is to build your own. Picture a fictional woman preparing for a difficult professional exam. For months, her friends are going out, relaxing, and enjoying their evenings. She spends many nights studying alone. Some nights she wonders whether the sacrifice is worth it. Nothing dramatic happens. Just another page. Another practice session. Another morning. Then one day, she realizes something important. The discipline was changing her before the result ever arrived. You cannot control how quickly life rewards you. You cannot control whether someone recognizes your effort. You cannot control whether a plan unfolds exactly as expected. The disciplined alternative is to bring your attention back to the territory that is actually yours. Your preparation. Your effort. Your choices. Your response. Your character. Think about standing at a shoreline during rough weather. You cannot command the water to become calm. You cannot negotiate with the wind. You cannot hold the horizon still. But you can secure what belongs to you. You can adjust your position. You can protect what matters. You can decide whether you panic or remain steady. Your real standard is revealed when the day becomes inconvenient. When you are tired. When the plan changes. When your confidence drops. When progress feels painfully slow. Discipline is often built in moments nobody would put in a movie. A quiet room. An unfinished task. A difficult decision. A promise nobody else remembers. You do not need perfection. You need return. Return to the standard. Return to the work. Return to the decision. Return to yourself. There comes a moment when you realize the goal was never only about getting somewhere. It was about becoming someone who could carry the weight of getting there. There will be a day when you look back at this season. You may not remember every difficult morning. You may not remember every unanswered message, every disappointing result, every night when you wondered whether your effort mattered. But you will remember whether you abandoned yourself. The reminder that keeps warriors going is not that the road will become easy. It is that difficulty does not get the final word. You still have a choice. You can respond with patience. You can return to the work. You can learn from the setback. You can protect your attention. You can keep your standards when nobody is watching. And you can take the next step without knowing exactly where every step will lead. That is enough. So when tomorrow arrives, remember who you were trying to become. Not someone who never struggles. Someone who does not let struggle decide who they are. Keep going quietly. Keep building carefully. Let your actions become the proof. And when the road asks you whether you still mean what you said, answer with your next decision. That is how you keep moving. That is how you keep your word. And that is how the warrior within you stays awake.